when I come in here and tell you guys that we're not that good, I mean, no surprises to me on some, but that we're not that good yet. I think we could be. I don't know if you guys believe that either. You think it's just coach speak and this and that. I mean, we are not one of our most talented teams. Big deal. It was Denzel's team went to a Final Four with. But I did try to tell everybody, and I told everybody about the schedule. I mean, I was about as honest as I could be. But yeah, you know what, guys? I'm ticked off on how we play. I really am. But I'm not disgusted or discouraged about where this team can go. I still believe in this team.
You said you talked about the experience, and Malik said recently, he's never at any level been sort of a go-to guy, and so he's sort of dealing with that new reality for himself. And he's a guy who maybe didn't get that true freshman to sophomore year with COVID and all that stuff. And I'm wondering for him, he's had these good second half finishes where he's not as involved in the first half. Like, as he goes through this process, what are those discussions you're having with him and trying to get him to have urgency early and be that guy?
Well, I had discussions yesterday with, I think, 11 players. A couple of them combined, a couple of them individual, just to try to help them through that. You're exactly right. He's never been through that. Gabe's never been the man. Thank God Max does not. The limelight doesn't bother Max as much, and he's progressed, but we still aren't getting those guys enough shots. So we gotta deal with that, but we want to get Malik some shots. I thought the guy that played and practiced as well as anybody today was Marcus. And there's been a million things written about Marcus and why I don't do this and I don't do that. Marcus gets his tail in there, plays with the passion he played with today. Marcus can play with a lot of players in this league, and it's just figuring it out. But look what he did for 3 years. It's kind of drifted along. So, I still think we have our best basketball ahead. I think Joey and Malik are playing well. They might have a down day here and there, but are. I really like my two wings. I think Gabe has, refound his shot a little bit, and I think, I don't know if you noticed in that game, but I even moved Max to the point some. Well, never had him practice that in practice. So that was my fault if it threw him off a little bit, but I thought it would give us the best chance to win, and we did make some plays with it. So I like that. I still think our depth is good. I just think our energy level was, and I heard a lot of coaches talking about, guys were tired. The guy at Auburn said, hey, my guys are dead tired. I'm here. Everybody's tired at this time of year. It's like listening to Steve Smith was in yesterday. It's like listening to Magic. Everybody's hurt in the NBA, but after some guys started to take months off, like we had happen a couple years ago, no, that's what everybody does, So mentality's different. COVID is part of it. I think everybody at every level is having some issues. But what I got going for me is I got really good guys. Okay, sometimes, as you all know, good guys got to get a little fire in their belly because maybe they're, I tell Malik all the time he's got to be more aggressive. In fact, I'll even share a funny story with you. Steve Smith came in my office yesterday and he said, Tom, that spin dribble, shuffle, spin dribble, dunk. He goes, that would make NBA highlight films. And Malik ran down the court like it was nothing, He's got to learn to play with some emotion. And all those things are what you start learning when you become in positions. Key guy, go-to guy, quarterback. Today I spent half my time telling our quarterbacks, take the blame. Take the blame if there's a good pass and they drop it, just say my fault. You can take it, they might not be able to. You got the ball in your hands 80% of the time, they might get it 10% of the time. So all those things are part of the process. We're gonna get there. I'm a lot more upbeat than I was the other night. I feel good about it. I think I know why we didn't play as well, and we're gonna try to do something about it, period.
Tom, Dane Flexman has returned on Saturday. Have you talked to him since he left for Indiana, and does that help them at all? Have familiarity with?
Yeah, I've talked to him, and of course it's going to help the familiarity a little bit. I mean, he knows what we do in some ways. We've tweaked some things, changed some things, but he knows the players, he knows their tendencies, he knows a little bit better. But you know, coaches can help win games, but players play the games. And so, you know, it's been good. I think they've done pretty well down there, and Mike's done a good job with their team. They play hard as hell. Those two guys inside are really, really, really good players. They can play for any team in this league. Trace Jackson is, you know, a guy that I recruited hard, and I absolutely loved his dad, his family, and the kid. And he's been a hell of a player there. And so I think, you know, Dane's familiarity will help. I don't think it changes the game that much, and it'd be good to have him back.
Hey, Tom, I heard some coach, you mentioned that this time of year everybody's tired. It's the so-called dog days and everything.
Yeah.
Yet you have the task of trying to emphasize, you know, some more passion and toughness. Is that a difficult thing to coach in practice when you're also trying to rest
Yeah.
players a little bit?
Yeah, we talked about that. That's why yesterday we didn't even want to look at a guy other than me just having a talk with him. I told him nobody in the gym shooting, no free throws, just get away, you know. Yeah, that is hard. You want to be more demanding in practice, and yet you also know it's the dog days. It's hard. I think last week I went with understanding the dog days. You bring up a good point. At the end of last year, they were the dead days, and we didn't give a damn. We just went out and played. So dog days or not, we're going to practice, and we're going to play, and I'm going to try to be as smart as I can, but I'm going to ask them to be as smart as they can. Get some rest, get some, you know, eat right, do the things. I mean, I don't practice yet, and you're hanging out with your girlfriend. It doesn't help the dog days any. So let's everybody do a better job, and that's been the motto. I told you that after the game. Coaches got to do a better job. Players got to do a better job. We took the hit, you know, together. No excuses. We did not play well enough. We did not deserve to win. It was a 1-point game with 8 minutes left. It's a 4-point game or 3-point game with 4 minutes left. You know, we were in the game against a good team playing very poorly. And I think Wisconsin is very well coached, a good team, and they've got a go-to guy that they went to down the stretch. You know, we're trying to find one. I mean, you know, we said at the beginning of the year, right? No lying to anybody. I told you at the beginning, I said, who's your go-to guy? I don't know. That's what gets developed when you know, you lose players or you lose somebody ahead of time, and then you've got to find somebody. You've got to make somebody that guy. I still think before it's over, Max Christie's going to be a hell of a go-to guy because he can shoot it, he can pass it, he can get in the lane, and he can make his free throws. So I got a lot of faith in him. But him and Malik right now would probably be the two guys that go to. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, huh? Everybody will know now. Tell your editors not to put it in the headline and we're safe.
One of the things, how much for you right now is it demanding mental toughness versus physical toughness?
I thought you guys were going to be jerks today, so I'm a little upset that there's a lot of good questions, to be honest.
He's a jerk
with you.
every day, Chuck.
Well, I know, but I like when I'm madder at you than I am when I'm agreeing with you. But if I had to look at it, you never want to say you're physically weak, because that's a test of their manhood. But when we played out at Rutgers, we were physically weaker than them. I thought the last game, you know, we were a little mentally, and that happens sometimes when you don't have true leaders to rally guys out on the floor, and that's what we got to do a better job of. We need that a little bit more. We've talked to a lot of people about it, and that's where the coach got to step up too. You know, I mean, I really do. I mean, you can't lead from the bench, but I think you can do a better job than I did. So that's why I took some blame, and I got no problem with that. We win together, we lose together, and I've had my days here when I thought we did a hell of a job and they didn't. I've had my days here where I thought they did a hell of a job and we didn't. I think that was a joint venture the other day, and I was a little taken back because I thought we practiced pretty well, but we didn't bring that to the game, and that is my job, and that's why I said that was on me.
Tom, have you seen any trends in Indiana in the last couple of weeks? It seems like they're one of those teams in the league where, like a lot, they can go and get you, they can have, last game.
I mean,
they missed a lot.
they had Penn State down, I think it was 39-8 or something. You know, they beat Purdue, and then they went and lost a couple games, you know, and so I don't know, when I talked to Dane a few times earlier, I don't know. We don't discuss our problems or their problems or their with strengths and weaknesses in ours, but we all got them, and I know this, that the two guys inside they got our strengths, and their guards at times have been very, very good, and at times they have been not as good. They've had a guy get 20 in one game and hardly playing a couple games, So I don't know. That'll be interesting. But I know this: they do play very hard. They're very well coached. They do some nice things offensively, but I think they keep it simple. I don't think they're tricky. I think they just come right at you, and you got to be able to guard that guy in the post, because Trace can pass it in there and he can score it in there.
I would imagine, among other things, when you get down to the nuts and bolts, simple things like screening, setting screens on offense were a problem with offensive production in the first half.
Passing, giving the right passes the wrong way. We had a couple in the corner wide open, the ball went above the guy's head. It was just a simple pass. We had a couple, the ball went down the guy's feet, a simple pass. Sometimes it's that simple, But we have done a pretty good job of, we out-rebound them. It wasn't like the first game, but we knew it wouldn't be with a wall. But when we miss a lot of shots, I think we did, they're going to get more chances for rebounds too. So I didn't think we rebounded as well, but I didn't think it was off the charts. I thought our passing and screening led to some shot clock plays at their place. We did a great job with ball screen offense. And I think that one of the mistakes I made, we went to that too much and didn't do enough screening. So that's where I'll take the blame on that. And they did a good job adjusting to it. So, you got to give them some credit too, because they deserve it.
How many losses win the Big Ten this year?
How many losses win the Big Ten? I said 4 to 5 early in the year. What does Purdue have now? 3?
3.
And Illinois has 3. Wisconsin has 3. And Michigan plays Purdue tonight. Purdue could get its 4th loss. Illinois still has to go to Indiana and come to our place. I said I thought 4 or 5. I guess it could be almost ridiculous, and you could say 5 or 6. I don't know. How many do you think?
5 sounds reasonable. I don't know if Purdue loses.
Same thing as everything. It's like who's going to have who available.
Right, and we still got sickness in that. What did you say? You were
I don't know how much Purdue loses again. Purdue, when they look dialed in, they look pretty tough. They're the one team that makes.
I said that early in the year, and then Illinois has shown some things. I'm a little impressed with their guards, but I did not see that game. I was dealing with my own game till kind of late that night. But anyway, I do think Purdue has, when you have 2 monsters like they have inside, when you have a Player of the Year candidate at guard, and they have veterans, Hunter and the white kid, the shooter, is he's got to have been there since it was in the BC era, wasn't it? Before Christ, but he seems like he's been there a long time. Huh?
As long as Davidson.
Long as Davidson, yeah, those guys definitely are going right to the retirement bureau. But
Played for Katie, right?
huh?
Played for Katie, right?
Yeah, but so I think they've got experience, shooters, star player, great bigs, and depth. So I would agree on that, but they've already lost 3. They got a tough one tonight. They've had a couple games where they were weren't great either. You know, they haven't been quite as good defensively as maybe some of his teams. And neither have we in these last 5-game stretch. So, I don't know. I think 5 is a safe number, but if I was, I'm not sure I'd bet my house on it, because I think there's, I think they're capable of running the table, and I think they're capable of losing a couple games.
You mentioned wanting more leadership out of your point guards. Do you feel like you had a productive conversation with those guys this week?
I really did, but sometimes, you know, Tyson, this is a whole new experience for him. And AJ, if you look at how he played last year, when he played last year, who did he have to look up to in the leadership things? You know, he wasn't, you know, he was kind of here with, AJ wasn't here with Cassius and that. So, you know, they're trying to learn from me and from word of mouth, but who the hell likes their coach? So we're the dumbest human beings next to their parents, you know, when they're 17 to 22. Coaches and parents are kind of dumb. And, but my guys have been, you know, pretty good about that. And when I sit down and talk with them, I really do think they get it and understand that, you know, they just got to get rid of all the noise outside and kind of home in. And sometimes when you lose a game or two, you do that. You know, you get back to the basics, you get back to people you can trust. You figure out that all those people that were kissing your behind are now kicking it. And coach is the same, you know. It's been the same every day. So I like our chances because I like our guys. And I would like them to get a little more aggressive, I get a little more energetic. And that's kind of the growth we hope to obtain here in the next month.
Anything else, guys?
Appreciate it.